Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cecilia Orellana,
My name is Juan Carlos Diaz.
and we're here today, and we're going to do a small interview to one of our active flight attendants. His name is Sebastian Lleras. Hi, Sebastian. How are you today?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us and being part of this small interview. So we're just
Mhm.
going to do a couple of questions today for you, Sebastian. It's basically right to tell us a little bit more of your experience, right, on being an active flight attendant directly with Avianca. So I'm just going to start right and go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Uh, well, um, I've been a flight attendant for Avianca for the last 8 years. Actually, I started in December 2014. My whole life, I was an artist. I'm a singer, songwriter, guitar player, photographer, and what have you. And this was an interesting change of careers, basically. But it's been a lot of
Mhm.
fun, a lot of stories, and I'm here to share what I can share with you guys. Okay.
Well, definitely a big
Okay.
change, right? Of being a photographer, a musician. You have a lot of
Yeah,
experience,
many
a lot of
things.
experience, definitely. But really good that you're able,
But
to provide a little bit of experience on those type of things, right?
yeah,
Then just to continue, here, Sebastian.
yeah. Sebastian, please tell us, why do you want to be a flight attendant?
Well, to make a long story short, I was back in 2012, I think. I was working on a reality show, a singing reality show here in Colombia. And I was singing there. And when one of the other singers was a flight, or is actually currently a flight attendant for Avianca, is a good friend of mine. And, it was one of those things where life just, I guess you could say it demanded a change on your life. Something's got to change. And I remembered him, and I said, that would be interesting. I've always, worked alongside art with customer service. And I said, I think I could be pretty good at that. So he said, go ahead, send your resume. So I did. And, within a couple months, I was entering training. That was back in 2014.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Wow, I mean, from a singer to a flight attendant. That's
I know.
a
Yeah.
big switch.
I
But
know.
that's so how did like, well, you said you were singing, right, and everything, but how did that really make you
Mhm.
think on becoming a flight attendant?
Well, like I said, alongside singing and playing and writing and acting, actually, that's my professional training. I'm a professional actor. And alongside that, to make ends meet at the end of the month, I had to do a lot of customer service and a lot of different platforms. And so I said, this is something that I know I can do well. I have a lot of experience on it. And, it might be interesting to not do it on land, but to do it in the air. I think I would be pretty good at it. So let's take a shot. And 8 years later, here I am.
Well, nice.
Okay,
And let me just
nice.
a quick there here parentheses. Like I know that you're a singer, and I was doing actually a homework for this class, and we had to listen to this video, from a flight attendant, saying the
Mhm.
like the welcoming announcements, and that about the demonstration and everything. Have you
Mhm.
ever like tried to do? And I've seen videos as well online, the flight attendants that they start like saying the announcement singing or things like that. Have you ever tried that before?
Not really,
That's
but
a
there's a
little
funny
strange.
story. There's a funny story, quick story.
Uh-huh.
This happened maybe around 4 or 5 years ago. Uh, you know that in the States we have April's Fool, right? And in here in Colombia we celebrate it on December 28th. So I was flying with a good friend of mine, and that flight that day was bound to Santa Marta. It was Bogota to Santa Marta. And so I said to him, why don't we uh, play a small prank on the passengers? And once we close the door, let's tell them that we are going to Leticia, which is at the other end of Colombia, right next to Brazil. And so we did. He did actually. He was the cabin purser on that flight, and he was giving the announcements. And so he said, "Good morning, everybody. Welcome to flight blah 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 bound to Leticia." And so everybody that thought they were going to Santa Marta, they were like, "What? You said Leticia? This is the wrong airplane. Wait, stop the airplane. Wait." It was really, really, really funny.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
so we said, "Happy April Fool, everybody. We're actually going to Santa Marta." And everybody laughed and laughed.
Did
We
you
are
have
talking
any?
about a funny situation, but now I want to ask you, please tell us about a situation where you had to deal with a difficult customer. How did you handle it?
Okay. Actually, I what the first story that comes to mind happened really recently, no more than 2 months ago. And I was actually a flight purser or a cabin purser on a flight to actually Santa Marta. And we had a delay, but everybody was on board. And so I had this German passenger. He was a big guy, maybe, I don't know, 1.90 meters, almost close to 2 meters. It was a big, big guy. And he was obviously really nervous about the flight. And we had a delay about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes with everybody on board. So he started getting up and pacing, and then he tried to step out of the aircraft. This is not allowed, of course. And so the safety guy tried to block him, like physically block him with his arm. So and so the passenger said, "Don't push me," and his face turned all red. And I saw that there was a language barrier there, and so I stepped in, and the guy was really upset. And he said, "I don't want to comply with the rules. I want to exit the aircraft while the aircraft is still while we have the delay." And so I said, "Okay, sir, just calm down for a second. Let me ask you a question. In your work, whatever you do for a living, do you have rules?" And he said, "Yeah." "Okay. And do you have to comply with these rules?" And he said, "Yeah." "Okay. So do we. We have rules. I know that these are rules that you may not understand, but it's not for us to understand, it's for us to comply. So I'm asking you, please come inside the aircraft, have a seat, and I'm sure we will take off shortly." And he understood that, and he sat down, and that was the end of it. But uh, there's a lot of that on board every day.
Yeah, I bet. I think that basically you already covered the next question, right? Is that was basically like, how would you definitely respond, or what would you tell a customer that doesn't want to follow, the rules or regulations that we have, right, on each flight?
Mhm.
And basically this is a perfect example, because definitely this is a situation that you can encounter basically on a daily basis, right? And almost,
Yeah.
well, depends on the person, but this is
I mean,
most
and you
likely
have
to
different
happen.
levels, and I mean, every airline has its own regulations, but in Avianca we have 4 levels of disrupted passengers. That's how we call them. And if you have a passenger who is just being verbally aggressive somehow, there's still a chance for you to handle the situation. But then you have other passengers who become physically aggressive and do not and will not comply with rules. And in those scenarios, you just have to rely on the authorities, your police, your airport security, because there's no reasoning with them. It's very few cases that come to that
Mhm.
level of how would you call it, disruptiveness? I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't happen that often, but it definitely does happen. Yeah.
Talking about these difficult situations, um, what do you think about what skills do you consider necessary to have as a flight attendant?
Okay. Um, Based on my experience, I would say the ability to assess a situation, the ability to, how would I put it, to try to figure out or imagine where a situation may go. That is key. And I would say empathy is a big plus, because sometimes, and a lot of times, most passengers just want to be heard. There's nothing really that you could do in a lot of these situations, but just listen, and just say, I understand, but just mean it, like, this is not supposed to happen this way, and I truly apologize. I would do, or I will do my best to try to make the experience of flying with us a little bit better. I know that whatever happened to you, first of all, it's not your fault, and there's nothing really that I can do about it now. What happened already happened, and that's it. But there's something that I can do to make your experience better. And a lot of times it works.
Yeah, definitely. I think that empathy, because these are situations, right, that anyone can go through. Well, anyone goes through actually, and definitely, the customer service and empathy. This is something that we have to actually live on every single day, because you
Mhm.
always need to put yourself on the customer's shoes or the other person's shoes, right, to really understand their situation. And probably you haven't even gone through that, but still you imagine, right, how would you feel if you actually are going through that same situation. And definitely, as being a flight attendant, um based on what I've seen, right, and what we have been studying all this past year, definitely empathy, it's something that we always need to have.
Yep.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Eh,
And go ahead, Juan Carlos.
okay. Sebastian, you told us that you have 8 years working in Avianca. So
Yep.
why did you want to work with Avianca?
Okay.
What do you want to work?
Avianca was my first choice based on this friend that I have. Um, and he always talked about, wonderful experiences that he has gone through on his time of service with Avianca. And I said, why not? I mean, I'm not going to try another airline because I don't know anybody there. He didn't help me or anything, but he was able to, I
Guide
would
you.
say, guide me maybe a little bit through the process of selection. And it's actually really tough to be selected because the last time I knew, like, numbers of acceptance, the rate of acceptance was actually the of 18%. Like out of 100 people that bring their resume to Avianca, only 18 are accepted, and that's a really low number. So it's not, it's difficult. You go through all these interviews. There's actually, I think, 8 stages, or back in my day, it was like that, 8 stages. You actually, one of those stages is a lie detector, and so, yeah. So basically, the reason that I selected Avianca was based on my friend, and the things that he told me about it. And it's been really fun.
Cool. Thank you very much for all this
Thank you.
information, Sebastian. And I think that, well, we're over the time. So just to wrap it up, can you just give us, because, well, just for you to know, this interview is going to be seen by some of our other peers right at school, and some teachers as well. But what would be one of your advices, or yeah, that you will provide, to all of the students that we're studying for this career specifically, and for us to not really stop, trying to chase our dreams, or to be able, to get to work really soon on an airline.
Okay, so my one of my big advices is to actually believe in your role. And what I mean by that is, I know that there's this fascination about this profession based on the ability to travel and to know places, and that is like a really cool side effect of our profession. But you're actually there to accomplish something and to fulfill a purpose, and you're there for safety. You're there for everybody's safety, including your own. So I would say believe in your role, believe in what took you there on the first place. It's actually really nice to travel and to get to know over, in my case, over 25 countries, but that's not the reason that you're there. You're there to take care of passengers. You're there to take care of an aircraft that goes from point A to point B. So as long as you have that in mind, I'm sure that you all will be doing a really, really good job on it. And I hope to see you on board very soon.
Thank you very much, and we wish that too.
So I think that for us, just want to tell you thank you for your time, thank you for your help, and all the people that is watching this video now. I don't know, morning, afternoon, evening, I don't know. Please give leave us a comment and thumbs up.
Thank you, and a like. Yeah, thank you very much,
Yeah, and
Sebastian.
like.
Really,
It
really
was my
thank you for
pleasure.
your time. And I hope that you continue enjoying your flights. And we'll talk. I hope that we could actually see each other really, really soon. And
Sure,
probably
guys,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure.
working together.
Whenever I can help, I'll be here for you, and I hope to see you on board really soon. Like I said, you take care, okay?
Thank you, Sebas. Bye bye.
Bye bye.